What the fuck, like, you know?
Does it please you in any way the fact that you have these people who you said before with the indie scene you have nothing but spite for it generally, the fact that you're in a position with the band outside of Ireland that virtually none of these people will ever reach, yet they would still have this kind of attitude that that they're better than a bunch of Harrys playing some.
Yeah, I mean we're the as you say, the unforeseen rule that breaks the law of chance or something. You want to call it the dissonance in this sort of relationship or something. We are the exception to the rule, in that no one can listen to Primordial and say, yeah, this is typical heavy metal cliched music. This follows the same stereotypical sort of dunder-headed cliches. They can't. It's realistically, it's not possible to criticize Primordial musically. You either like it or you don't like it. Some people may not, if they're looking for instant gratification in a heavy metal sense of that, that kind of thing, then you're not going to get it from Primordial. Do you know what I mean? But I mean, you can't. For these people to claim this sort of musical high ground over us is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, but part of the fact that I'm not really interested in. I think spite is a strong word. I just find they're seen so emasculated and so just pathetic is the first word that comes to me. And it's far more based on fashion than those people would like to admit. And but no, I mean the Irish music industry is the way it is. I mean heavy metal is always going to be. You're always going to be some sort of social leper, if that's what you're into. Whereas in other countries, we were talking about this the other day, where in other countries, if you're in your early 30s or mid 30s and you're still into what's perceived as a subculture, that's okay, But here, there's a very great social pressure to put on. Are you still into that? Are you still into what you're into when you're a teenager? Or, Jesus, are that band still going? It's like, well, no, they fucking broke up when you stopped liking them. Are the Rolling Stones still going? Yeah, of course they are. Fuck off,
Okay, so we touched upon the fact that you've had this kind of unprecedented success outside of Ireland and the UK and in Europe, which is traditionally a stronger market for this kind of music. And you did the Heidenfest tour a couple of months ago. Now, I visited a couple of shows on that tour, and Dortmund in particular was like 3,000 people or something there, which really, really shocked me.
Yeah.
The tour averaged it was
just over 1,000. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's something completely new for you, right? I mean, even the Immortal tour back in 2000 didn't have those kind of numbers, did it?
No, it averaged about 500 or 600.
And so for you, it must have been quite something to have the opportunity to play to so many people. I know there was a little bit of kind of criticism from people on your forum or whatever that the style of bands you were playing with was maybe a bit too kind of maybe a bit too fly by night, or basically didn't have the same kind of depth that Primordial has been known for. Do you think that's something that maybe played to your advantage? And do you think overall, I mean, you can't really turn down a tour which is going to get you 1,000 plus people a night, especially in this day and age?
No, you can't. I mean, I think realistically, the complaints from our, shall we say, hardcore fans were reasonable. They said, look, why should we pay 25 or 30 euro just to see you, and we're not interested in any of these other bands? And I said, well, you know what, it's fair enough, but this won't be the last time you see us.
Yeah.
And I think that it's very important for us to reach some sort of new audience and show these people that, you know what, not all of this music has to be quite so, to challenge them with something that is dark, that's something that embodies, at least for me, the original, true blueprint of what metal is, but built upon with sort of epics, a sort of epic cultural aesthetic, not aesthetic, but to just challenge them with something real, and even if we bored them senseless, I could see that some of the Fintroll 15, 16-year-olds, in 5 years' time, they might go, fuck that band, and they're a bit older. In the very same way, maybe Thrashers hated Into the Pandemonium at the time or something. 5 years later, okay, now I can see the point of this. But it's important to challenge people and not. Sometimes it's very easy to live in your own comfort zone, play to the same 200-300 people and go on tour like that, and you're preaching to the converted. So it was important to try something new. And we also perhaps underestimated in a sense, our own popularity, and we brought our own crowd.
Yeah.
We brought our own fans. I mean,
the fact that people were complaining, like, you know, you say, you know, they didn't want to pay, like, you know, which to them was quite an expensive ticket just to see Primordial. But from what you said there, it seems that a lot of people who are more Primordial fans than Fintroll fans, for example, they still turned up.
yeah, they did. We brought our own crowd who would come and they would watch Monogarm. And, I mean, Elevate's acoustic music, I began to see something in common with. Their metal is not what we have in common.
Yeah.
But I think that there was a good complement of styles eventually. And for a tour of more than 35 travelling people, to actually make that work on a personal level, that there was no conflicts or confrontations. I mean, I think the other bands realised, maybe, and they would say this, that okay, there was something slightly different musically with Primordial. We've been at it for such a long time,
Yeah.
and it has this darkness to it that Jay don't have within their music. But maybe we were the shade to the light of the tour, you know.
And because there was no other bands that really kind of approached the music in such a manner as you.
No, Monogarm, we had a few things in common with.
Mm.
We shared the bus with them.
Yeah.
But no, it was good. I mean, it was overall, the sense for us was like, oh, this is going to be a challenge and we have to overcome it. And I mean, yeah, you saw in Dortmund. I mean, it's
It was incredible.
yeah,
The amount of people there.
yeah, it was like 3,200 or something.
And